In terms of how the language teacher toolkit came about, I'd been blogging about language learning for a few years, and some time ago I came across Gianfranco's blog, which focuses on what research might tell us about classroom practice. It's actually quite unusual to find a blog like this, and it's really caught my attention. My experience, there aren't that many language teachers who are interested in the theory and research side of teaching. So I made contact with Gianfranco via Twitter, and it turned out he'd been reading my material for some time. Someone on Twitter then suggested we write a book about language teaching. So we quickly took up the idea, and a few months later the book was written. It's probably worth mentioning that both Gianfranco and I are from a teaching background primarily. He teaches French and Spanish at the Garden International School in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I spent my whole career teaching French in England. Gianfranco has also done a PhD in applied linguistics, and quite a few years ago I did an MA where the main focus was on the work of Stephen Krashen, whose work, as you might know, remains very influential. So the book does something we haven't seen in any other handbooks, in as far as it refers to research, but tries to link it with very specific classroom activities. Overall, I'd say the greater emphasis is on what teachers can actually do in the classroom. It's quite a chunky volume. We look at language teaching approaches, ways of doing oral work in the classroom, teaching the skills of listening, reading and writing. We take a particular look at ways of developing spontaneous speaking and vocabulary learning. We also consider the issue of differentiation, teaching advanced level students, using song and drama, and using technology. We take a particular look at teaching grammar, focusing on the types of practice you can do and how useful it is to draw a student's attention to rules, if it's useful at all. We hope that the book is not particularly ideological in its view of language learning. It's interesting because Gianfranco leans towards what's called the skill acquisition view, the idea that learning a language is rather like learning any complex skill. You know, you practice the simpler bits and build up skill through repetition and recycling, gradually moving towards more natural communicative practice.